How's it going, everyone? It's great to see you all again. Today we're going to be talking about how to install the OEM Polaris Axys skid plate.
So first thing we need to do is get the sled balanced since the Axys chassis is perfectly balanced. Just kidding. We'll get the sled pulled over onto its side. You can either let it sit all the way on the ground, or in my case, if you have the handy dandy snowmobile stand from Extreme Max, they actually make this little cup attachment for the handlebars to sit in. That makes it pretty convenient if you need to work on the bottom of the sled like this. Now you will want to make sure that the stand is positioned correctly. It may not do a whole lot of damage if the sled tips completely over, but rather be safe than sorry. I'll typically position the leg on the stand about 90 degrees from the sled and then give it a quick jiggle to make sure it's not going anywhere. And if you're interested in this setup, I'll leave a link in the description below for both the stand and the cup attachment. Now the skid plate itself is made out of 1/4 inch thick UHMW plastic. For your install hardware, it comes with 5 self-tapping screws, and for the upper hole, we'll just reuse the bolt from the lower mount on the front bumper. And we'll talk about the middle hole later on in the video. Now, if you haven't already, remove both the side panels and the hood so we can access the inside. We're going to start by removing the bolts on the lower mount of the bumper, and then you'll find a dimple on the bottom side of the sled where you need to drill a 3/16 inch hole. Give it a quick test fit. And then it may be a little bit hard to tell in the video, but there's 3 pre-drilled holes in the rear metal plate of the sled. Now these didn't line up perfectly for me with the skid plate, so I just used the middle one as more of a guideline to make sure the skid plate was straight on the sled. Next, we're going to throw the front bolt in order to help hold up the skid plate to the sled. And then starting in the middle, screw in our 3 rear screws. Now there will be quite a bit of shavings coming off from the self-tapping screws drilling into the metal plate. Most of the shavings should fall out, but what I did at the end was just remove all the screws and then let the rest of the shavings just fall out and then reinstall all the screws. We'll install the 2 front screws next. Now for this middle hole, it doesn't come with any kind of hardware to attach the skid plate to the sled. With the Ultimate front bumper, it comes with a cross piece that helps it mount to the bottom of the sled, but what I did was just used a slightly larger rivet as well as a washer on the inside in order to keep the rivet from pulling through the plastic. Now one thing I forgot to mention that I actually didn't do when I installed the skid plate was mounting the bumper tab on top of the skid plate. It does have a slight indentation there for it, and honestly I think you can do it either way. I haven't had any issues with mine, but if you absolutely have to do it the right way, the bumper tab goes on top of the skid plate. Now we're going to finish up by tipping the sled back up, tightening that top bolt, reinstalling the hood and both side panels, and you're all done.
So I've had mine on for about a month and a half. It's got a couple scratches on here, but overall it's been pretty darn good. I've had quite a few of these skid plates on my Polarises over the years, and they've saved my butt quite a few times. It is not a metal skid plate, so it's not going to be an end all to completely saving your sled if you come down really hard onto a stump or something like that. With the ridges on the center here, they do protect very, very well because the aluminum on the underside of the chassis is a little bit thinner, so it's prone to getting dings and dents here and there. So with the skid plate, it does have really good coverage and protects really well against things hitting that rear aluminum plate. If this helped you out in any way or you have anything to add, let me know in the comment section below. I always do my best to respond to every single comment. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thoughts on my mind every time that I go and I'm reminisce. I'm back in the game, I'm feeling this. The life I'm living got benefits. Now this shit y'all want it. Still got that, I run it. Got a whole lot that's coming. I've been on top, no jumping.